Hello YouTube, this channel is all about Christianity and all things Jesus. Today we're going to be talking about why Christians shouldn't celebrate Halloween. There's a few different holidays Christians shouldn't be celebrating, but Halloween is probably the most important one. I think in popular culture it's become quite normal to celebrate Halloween, dress up, even as adults, go to house parties or whatever, and celebrate Halloween just for fun, have a few drinks, things like that, the norm. But not only adults, we also have, for people that have children, they'll take their children out trick-or-treating and the children get really excited and they get sweets for knocking on strangers' houses with all of these spooky decorations, and people sort of compete with one another to look as scary as possible in some circumstances, or have the scariest looking home or the scariest looking decorations. I used to really love Halloween. I used to love watching scary films and dressing up and all of that good stuff. But since becoming Christian, I've learned the dark side of watching scary movies, because you're allowing demonic oppression and you're opening doors to the demonic. So I no longer watch scary movies. People have been so desensitized to things that when Jesus was around just wouldn't be considered, not only would it not be considered normal, it would be considered very demonic. And now it's just become normal. And the thing is, we are in the darkest times since the days of Noah. People need to wake up to the fact that things that are normal and popular in society are not necessarily the best thing for us. Especially as Christians, we have to have our guards up extra high, because Satan is working extra hard on us because he doesn't want us to be saved. And people who are already lost, he's not going to work as hard on them because he's already got them. But people who follow Jesus, he's going to be working overtime to drag us down to hell. So we need to be extra cautious. And this is another reason why I think it's really important to be careful about who you spend your time with. And I am very much a loner now. I don't really spend my time with anyone, apart from me and my brother have just recently got back in contact, which I'm so grateful for. There's a couple of people from church I talk to, but other than that, I don't really talk to anyone that much. So point is, it's really important to guard yourself with people that you spend time with, because peer pressure is a real thing. Even if it's not really peer pressure, all your friends are going out and celebrating something, and you don't want to be the one that's missing out. So it's better to just choose friends who have the same understanding as you. They realise the times that we're in, because it's hard enough to have faith with all of the deception going on in the world, let alone having worldly friends who are just going to distract you even more and just be another hindrance to your growth with Jesus. So I would just be really careful and really mindful about who you spend time with. And I just want to give a quote by Anton LaVey. He said something to the effect of, "It makes me so happy that Christians are allowing their children to celebrate Satan one day of the year." If you don't know who Anton LaVey was, I believe he started the Satanic Church somewhere in America. But yeah, he was very high up in the Satanic world. I've watched a couple of videos from a couple of ex-Satanists who've now become Christian, and I'm gonna just list off some of the reasons why they say Christians, I mean everyone, but especially Christians, should not be celebrating Halloween. As I mentioned to you before, you're opening doors to demonic oppression and demonic activity in your house, or even your soul. Obviously there's laws that God has given Satan. Satan and the other demons can only do things within the laws of God. And if you're not putting on your armor of God, if you haven't asked for discernment, if you haven't read your Bible, if you haven't prayed, if you haven't done these things that you need to do to protect yourself, these spiritual things that you need to do to protect yourself, you're leaving yourself open. And I know it's really hard to think of it that way sometimes, because unless you were brought up Christian, everything that you know and everything you've been brought up on is, science-based, fact-based, and it's all based on physical things that you can see, hear, or feel. Okay, you have to, you might have to use a microscope or something, maybe you can't see it to the naked eye, but it's always about, can you see, feel, or hear it? And if you can't do those things, then as far as science is concerned, it's not a thing. However, you can feel, see, and understand the effects of these things. And if you suddenly start hearing things going bump in the middle of the night, or you're having more arguments than you normally do, or there's just this negative spiral going on in your life for some reason, and you haven't quite put your finger on it, it's probably because you're not putting God first. If God doesn't come first in your life, then you're doing something wrong. God has to come first. It's the first commandment: love God before anything else. God must be worshipped before anything else. And if you're celebrating something that's celebrating Satan and murder and sacrifice and all of this stuff, then you're definitely not putting God first. It's as simple as that. So you're definitely opening up doors to demonic possession, demonic oppression. You're just opening windows to all kinds of things. So I just wouldn't do it if I were you. Not to mention, is celebrating evil. And if we look at 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 verse 22, it says, abstain from every form of evil. That's the New King James Version. Now, what is Halloween? It's a celebration of evil. I know it just seems fun because that's how we've been desensitized. That's what we've been made to feel and think, is that it's just a bit of fun, it's just a bit of dress up, it's harmless, it doesn't mean anything. But what we need to look at is how Satanists look at that day, and what Anton LaVey said, what these two other ex-Satanists have said, is it's the most important day in the satanic calendar. Halloween is the most important day in the satanic calendar. It's also the day that has the most human sacrifice around the entire world, and it's also the day that in the satanic world people can kind of like climb up the corporate ladder, so to speak, because they can do certain things on that day, certain rituals or whatever on that specific day. There's so much celebration of Satan, so much worshipping of Satan. And we have to remember this is a spiritual battle, it's not a physical battle. So the more people who are worshipping Satan in the world, the more power he has. Obviously God is always sovereign, but if so many people are celebrating Satan on a specific day, or celebrating evil or whatever it is on a specific day, Satan's going to be the most powerful on that day. Evil is going to be the most powerful on that day. It's like the reason why England has been taken over so much by Islam and everything is because people have turned their back on God. They've given this evil agenda the legal grounds in regards to God to do that. We've allowed that to happen. And when we celebrate Halloween, that's exactly what we're allowing to happen. We're allowing all of these satanic rituals and everything to have a much stronger effect. And in essence, we're almost egging on all of this additional human sacrifice, all of this extra evil. We're almost giving them a reason to do all of these evil things on that particular day, because we're opening this portal, or this celebration of evil. We're literally opening this opportunity for Satan to be utterly worshipped and all of this evil to take place. It's really sad because one of the ex-Satanists basically said the reason why so many people go missing in October, normally homeless people or vulnerable people who maybe won't be noticed when they go missing, the reason why so many people go missing in October is because they are going to obviously use them for human sacrifice and these other rituals and everything on that specific day in order to gain the most spiritual power and potentially climb up the ranks and whatever else on that particular day. Also, one of the ex-Satanists said that even if you are not celebrating Halloween and you have a number of people celebrating Halloween in your specific area, I don't know how big of an area he was talking about, but he said that if there's a certain amount of people in your area celebrating Halloween, whether it's just decorations or actual celebrations or whatever it is, that could potentially cause a demonic ritual, and you could be involved in that ritual if you're not protected with the armor of God and everything else. Even as a Christian, if you have not got the armor of God on, if you're not fully protected against these things, if you're not obeying God, if you're not repenting, you're open to being involved in this demonic ritual. On par with human sacrifice, but probably the most important thing out of everything I've mentioned, getting your children dressed up, taking them out to strangers' houses, knocking on their doors and collecting sweets on this particular day is basically instilling programming into these children how fun Halloween is and how fun all of these evil, creepy things are. You're desensitizing your children to evil, is what you're doing. You're giving positive reinforcement to evil in the eyes of your children, which should be the very opposite of what you should be doing if you're raising your children in a Christian household. And I'm not judging anyone, okay? We all make mistakes. It's the society that we're in now, the day and the hour that we're living in now, quite frankly, it's so difficult to pinpoint what's okay and what's not okay. But I mean, if you really think about it, if you really pay attention to it, you are glorifying evil. And in the eyes of your children, when it's already hard enough for them in this day and age to have an understanding of what's going on because of all of the deception in the world, we have to be extra vigilant. It might make you a helicopter parent in some people's eyes, it might make you seem like a over-the-top Christian in some people's eyes, but that's part of the parcel, isn't it? That's what it says in the Bible, is that you will be mocked by others. It's just part of the territory, but at the end of the day, it's your children's soul, it's your soul. A little bit of fun versus obeying God. Okay, sorry, my memory card was full, but I just want to thank you so much for watching this video. God bless you and take care.